So today I've got a real treat for you. In the past, most of the SaaSes we've looked at are in the tech industry, but today we're going to go on a wild ride through the automotive market. Before we get started, if you're enjoying these SaaS breakdown videos, be sure to let me know in the comments and make sure you're subscribed because I'll keep making them if you are enjoying them. But let's just get right into it. So I stumbled upon this little SaaS while I was writing a short book about building a SaaS. And the book's done. It's free. If you want it, I'll put a link in the description, but it's just a short, like 20 something page book that tells you how to build a SaaS from scratch. So if you want to check that out, you can. But anyway, I found this by browsing around on a wheel ecom site. And I was using this tool to like visualize what the wheels would look like on the car. And I realized that the tool was one I had seen on another wheel ecom site. So I knew immediately that there was, another company that had made this tool and was like, letting other websites use it. So after doing some digging, I found out that the tool is made by Iconfigurators or Iconfigurators. I'm not sure how they pronounce it, but it's a tool that they allow other companies to put on their site, like other like wheel ecom, manufacturers, whatever. And they actually will also brand the tool to whatever site it's on. So here I'm on Car ID, and you can see that's the branding I'm seeing. Now, Car ID doesn't own this tool. It's actually created by iConfigurators, but they're white labeling it to Car ID. And that differs from private labeling because in private labeling, you have the exclusive rights to the product. But iConfigurators is actually renting this out to like a bunch of different companies. And on their homepage, they actually somewhere on here listed. So here's Car ID as one of their clients. So there's like several other companies that they're allowing to use this SaaS, this software as a service, on their own website, branded under their own brand name. So the tool itself is actually pretty useful. You put in, a year, make, model, trim, whatever, and then you can search for wheels, and it will show you all of the different wheels that fit whatever car you put in, and it will also show you what those wheels look like on the car. And you can change the color of the car, and you can look at all the different wheels and what they might look like with the various colored cars. But the best part about this whole SaaS is like this display right here, right? The fact that you're able to see what the car looks like with the wheels on it is a really kind of useful, powerful application of this SaaS. Now, before we get any further into this, how much money is this SaaS making? Well, the thing is, they don't have any pricing on their page. They just allow you to request a demo. So I tried calling them and they didn't pick up. And actually, I called several times and they didn't pick up.
Hello, you've reached the accounting department. Please leave your name. Hello, you've reached the accounting department. Please leave your name, number, and the nature of your call.
And I also emailed them a few days ago and they still haven't replied. So if you are wanting to start a SaaS in this market, kind of competing with these guys, just pick up your phone. It's good for business. But if I had to guess, I would say they're probably charging at least several $100s per month because this is a rather large database worth of cars and wheels that needs to be updated probably very frequently. It's serving the B2B automotive, it's white label, and there's honestly not that many competitors in this space. Like I looked around and there's not many other, there's maybe like 3 or 4 other SaaS companies that have like a wheel configurator type tool. And they're honestly not even as good as this one, even though, as we'll see in a second, this one's actually not the best either. And there's definitely room for improvement here. But the reality is they could probably charge whatever they wanted. So they could be charging thousands of dollars a month. And likely they would get you into some kind of like multi-month or even year-long contract where you have to pay up front or you're locked in somehow just because they have a lot of leverage given that they have probably one of the best tools in the space and there's not really anybody else competing with them. So let's say they lock in their customers for a year-long contract at $8,000 for the whole year. I think that's pretty reasonable. And that means that if they only had 10 customers, they'd be making 80 grand a year. So you can see that this is a pretty, expensive SaaS, and you could make a lot of money building a tool like this. Now, from a development perspective, I don't think this would be the easiest software to make. And that's probably why there's not a lot of competition, or at least one of the reasons why there's not. Because if it was easy, everybody would do it. But I actually don't think it would be as challenging as you might think. So looking in here, it looks like they're using Vue.js. The reason I'm guessing that is because I can see here that there's a lot of Vue runtimes. So it's probably coded in Vue.js, which is just a framework for JavaScript. And I think the UI itself is actually pretty simple. I mean, you just have some filters, you got, some wheels, you can change the color and stuff. Like the actual UI here is not anything crazy. I think the hardest part is going to be the rendering, actually showing the wheels on the car. Now they're using Pixie.js as the renderer for their images. So this is like a 2D renderer that you can use in browser, and it'll also work on mobile. And so this is a mobile friendly tool as well, which is great. And you would definitely want to have it be mobile friendly if you were to make something similar to this. Now, it also looks like when you swap out the wheels, like if you click to go between wheels, it sends back two different pictures from the server. One is the front wheel, and you can see that that one matches the front wheel. And then the other one is the back wheel. And it's just basically like a squished, angled version of the wheel, and it basically just overlays it on top of the car. Now, I think the renders for the wheels are really just the pictures for the wheels, and then all of these pictures as well would be relatively easy to get from the wheel manufacturer, because they want to sell more wheels. And so if you can say, hey, I want your wheel to be featured in my tool, they might just give you some of the pictures for free, or at least probably pretty inexpensively. Now, getting all the renders of the cars might be expensive. Maybe. You see, when you first load up a car in here, it actually sends back just a picture of the car with the wheels missing. And this is like not even the right color. So if you pick a different color, it's actually just like the color overlay that gets put on top of the base image. So you got like the base image without the wheels, and then it overlays the color, and then it overlays the wheels. So you got like 3 layers of images. So this is not like a 3D rendered thing. It's just a 2D render with each image like compiled on top of the previous. So you might be able to get these images of the car from the car manufacturer, potentially like in a PR package or something, and you could use those, and then you could you'd have to do some Photoshop skills to kind of cut out the paint and then change it a different color or whatever. But you probably could get a lot of these images for free as well, or relatively inexpensively. But honestly, if you want to do a SaaS like this, go full 3D. Allow your users to actually drag and rotate the car around and see it from multiple angles. It's nice to be able to see it in 2D, but if you could actually look at it from multiple angles, that would be game changing. And on CG Trader, there is actually several thousand free 3D car models. So there's almost 4,000 free car models that are rendered, full 3D renders. And this Audi R8 that I found that's free, it actually looks pretty good. So it's a 3D render, and you could get the model and you could render it. Now, how to actually do that in the browser and make it mobile friendly, I think that might be a challenge, but I know there's libraries out there for 3D rendering on the web and in the browser. And we're kind of at the place where technology is getting so that it's actually not super laggy. So this, I think, is a big opportunity to go into this space with 3D models that you can actually rotate in the app. Now, I personally do not know a lot about 3D modeling and graphics and everything, but I think that this could be something worth looking into. Also, I found that this SaaS does not have every vehicle listed. It doesn't have an image for every vehicle listed. So that might be a weak point. If you can find a bunch of cars that they don't have, and then you could, even if you wanted to just do them in 2D, having a more full database might be something that you could have an edge on. All in all, I think that the hardest part of this SaaS would actually be just getting the images or 3D renders of all the cars and the wheels. But I think after that, throwing it together with like Vue.js or React.js, they're using Pixie.js in here. I think just, actually getting all that together and putting it in here, because it's really just a one-page application with some simpler user interface. I think it would actually be relatively easy to build that part out. But enough about the tech stuff. All right, how do we go about getting customers for a SaaS like this? How do we actually get people to pay us a buttload of money to white label our SaaS on their own website? Well, the thing is, we actually don't need that many users, right? I mean, if we're charging as much as I think we can, 10 users and we're making 6 figures a year, that could be pretty sweet. Plus, that means we could spend a lot on marketing if we wanted to. But honestly, I think the best place to start would be to go to iConfigurators and figure out what other companies are using them and just reach out to them and offer them a better product at maybe a cheaper price. Now, that would only apply if the product that you make is actually better. So if you were to, do the 3D rendering, or you had even more, cars or whatever, however you want to make this better, you'd actually have to make it better before you go and pitch an existing customer that you have a better product. But beyond that, I think cold outreach to various wheel e-com sites, saying something like, hey, would you like your customers to be able to try on the wheels before they buy? That's going to increase sales for you, and your customers are going to be happier to buy from you. And I think that would likely land you at least a few customers. And again, if you only need a dozen customers to be making 6 figures, do you really need a ton of customers? Because the reality is this is a B2B, and there's not that many wheel e-com sites, or there's not that many customers that would use a tool like this. That's why you can charge them a lot, and you don't need that many customers to be making a substantial amount of money. Ultimately, I think that this would be a dream SaaS for anybody that is really interested in cars or the automotive industry. As always, drop a comment if you have any more questions, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.